Everybody thinks Monsteras are just a cool Instagram plant, but owning 2 mature varieties as well as a cutting of a rare variety, that's a completely different story. And trust me, it is not as easy as it looks online. If you've been bitten by the plant bug or you're just getting into Monsteras, this video is for you. I'll show you what most people don't tell you about these plants, as well as growth habits, root chaos, and variegation secrets. Also, how to keep rare cuttings alive. Let's start with the original jungle queen, the OG, Monstera Deliciosa. History. The name Monstera comes from Latin for abnormal or monstrous, which is a nod to the wild fenestrated leaves. It's native to Central America, where in the wild it can be seen climbing super tall trees right in the jungle. So when you see little plants like this in somebody's living room, it's not quite living up to its full potential. And many people don't know this, it actually produces fruit too when living in the wild, and it tastes like pineapple banana custard, supposedly. I've never tried one, but if you have, let me know. Most people treat Monsteras like a bushy houseplant, but they're not. They start on the ground and then they climb using aerial roots. This one has been treated like a bush for the majority of its life, so we're about to put in a moss pole so that it can start living its climbing dreams. Allowing a Monstera to climb is also gonna be how you get those really big leaves. You can use moss poles, cocoa coir stakes, or even a bamboo trellis if you're just trying to keep things low key. But when your aerial roots go wild, don't chop them. Just take them and reroute them into the moss pole so that they have something to hold on to. Next we have the Thai Constellation. This variegated star comes from Thailand, no shock there, and it was produced in the 1990s using tissue cultures made in a lab. The creamy galaxy-like speckling is actually genetically stable, which makes it less prone to reverting than the albo monsteras or the half-moon monsteras. However, because of the white spots on the plant, it's much slower growing. It's not just pretty though, it's high maintenance. The white spots lack chlorophyll, which means these plants can burn easily, photosynthesize poorly, and grow way slower than regular monsteras. Mine lives in bright indirect light nearby a window but not directly in front of it, and it has a humidifier nearby to prevent those burning edges. A quick little tip on this one is to rotate it monthly so that different sides of the plant can see the sun and it won't be so one-sided. It'll end up being more well-rounded. Thais are super sensitive to nutrient imbalances. For these, I recommend using a diluted cal-magnesium supplement and about once monthly, and top dress with worm castings every few weeks. Last but not least, we have our newest addition to the collection, the variegated half-moon Monstera. The rare baby half-moons are absolutely gorgeous, and the fragile half-moon cuttings have more than 65% white, which means they're in a little bit of a danger zone. Too much white means that there's not enough chlorophyll, which can lead to slow growth and risk of root rot. For a cutting, my recommendation would be to let it callus for a couple of days, especially if it hasn't already or if you're getting it fresh from another plant. Root it in damp sphagnum moss and perlite, not just water alone. And you can also cover it with a humidity dome or even a bag to mimic tropical conditions and add extra humidity to the plant. Variegation of these plants can shift with every new leaf. To keep it balanced, you want to cut from nodes that already are showing signs of that moderate marbling, not just pure white leaves. And if a cutting is reverting, you want to increase the amount of light that it's getting. That can sometimes wake up the variegation genes. Bonus tips are to use a chunky soil mix, which I don't currently use for my plants because I am using a mixture of well-draining soil, and it's worked for my plants thus far. But if you are struggling with overwatering or underwatering or just watering problems in general, definitely switch to a chunky mix. You can make your own chunky mix using orchid bark, perlite, and cocoa chips. Between waterings, you want to let the soil breathe and wait until the top 1 to 2 inches are fully dry before watering again. And if you have a hard time with this, you can use clear nursery pots so that you can actually monitor the amount of water that's in the soil in between waterings. My fertilization secret is to go low and slow. I use a liquid fish fertilizer at about 1/4 strength, and I apply that every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing period. Overfeeding it can lead to leaf burn, so if you start to see more leaves turning yellow during this time, you want to slow down the amount of fertilization that you're doing. Overfeeding equals leaf burn, which equals equals sad Monstera. Humidity equals happy plant. Monsteras love about 60% humidity, so if you live in a humid environment, you could open a window and just let it happen naturally, or you can place your Monsteras next to a humidifier so that they're getting that extra moisture in the air. So whether you have a baby Monstera or a full-blown adult plant, I hope this helped you to feel a little bit more confident and maybe even a little bit more obsessed with your Monsteras. These plants are stunning, but it is a long game. If you've got tips of your own, struggles, or questions about Monsteras, drop them below. And as always, happy growing!